Alright, I've charged my batteries, literally, because this camera, the batteries on this camera, they're just awful. But I'm back to talk about some more movies. If you have not seen part one, I suggest you do. I mean, you don't have to, because it's not like you're not gonna, it's not like this is gonna make no sense if you haven't seen part one. This is just a continuation of me talking about some movies and perhaps a TV show. We will see. But yeah, I didn't really have time to talk about everything in part one, so let's keep going. First up here is a rewatch. This is, I'm not really sure what the English title is, but you have the French title right there beneath the Swedish one. It's The Double Life of Veronica or something like that, by Krzysztof Kieslowski. I actually saw this only like a year ago, and I wasn't a big fan of it then. I like it more now, but I don't know why I didn't like it then. I had seen some stuff of his before, the Three Colors trilogy and the first five parts of the Decalogue series. And I mean, Kieslowski, he's obviously a true auteur of his work. I mean, when you watch a Kieslowski movie, I mean, he has put his stamp on each one of his works. I mean, of each one of his films. And there's also a certain there's a certain sense of realism in his movies, and there's also a certain the sound. Something that I've found stands out with Kieslowski is the sound design, the soundtrack. I mean, just something simple as flickering through papers in a phone book looking for a number and then putting that number in one of these old phones or whatever. I mean, everything that actors do like that. I just feel like Kieslowski has, or his sound guy or whatever, has paid a lot of attention to that because that is important. Because those things, you know, they contribute to the overall verisimilitude and to the whole world of the to the whole world of the movie. I mean, you know, it immerses you in that world, and I don't know. There's just something with the sound in Kieslowski's movies that I really that I really loved. And then this one does have that too, I suppose. But when I watched this a year ago, I'm not sure if I wasn't in the right mood. But this one is just it's a little bit different from those other movies that I mentioned. It's more, I guess, more experimental and more supernatural, and not as obvious what's actually going on. It's about two women who live, one Polish woman and one French woman, played by the same actress, and their lives sort of, they both kind of sense. We first see the one from Poland, and then after that we go to the one in France. So they are not sort of juxtaposed in a way. I mean, they kind of are, because the one in a way transitions into the other, and they kind of sense the other one. And I guess it's about, it's like a tricky movie, but there's a lot of beauty in this movie. There are some scenes, there's almost an indescribable amount of beauty. I mean, there's a scene where the Polish Veronica, she sings at a concert, and later the French Veronica, she attends a married, I don't know what it's called, with the dolls on the strings, puppet. There's a puppet master. He controls the doll. I forget the name of those dolls, but I think there was the music that was played during that scene was the same music that had been used in the Polish version, I think. So that was some sort of connection there. And those two scenes and certain others, there's just some sort of otherworldly, ethereal, mystical beauty to those scenes, which you just can't explain. It is truly a beautiful movie, and I've seen it twice now, and I understand more this time, and I can appreciate more this time. But I feel like there's a lot that I will appreciate even more next time. Kieslowski is he was a master. I mean, we lost him way too early. I don't know, he died maybe in the late 90s, early 2000s, I'm not sure, but I don't think I mean, if he was alive today, he would have been making movies. I mean, he would not have been too old. I mean, I don't know when he was born, 50s maybe even, so he would not have been old. Which is, I mean, yeah, he managed to make some fantastic movies, and this is this is one of them. It says here, didn't it? No. Anyway, sorry about that. Anyway, it's definitely a unique experience. I thought it said a unique experience. It said a magnificent experience, but I read unique. But it's actually true. It is a unique experience. Anyway, if yeah, I recommend that. Then a much different movie, which is kind of difficult to explain. This one is called Tristram Shandy, or it's actually called A Cock and Bull Story, which I guess would make sense if you watch the movie. But this is by Michael Winterbottom with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. It's basically about, I could go really in depth here and explain the different layers, but I'm not going to do that. I recommend you watch it if you're a fan of these two comedians here. It is really interesting. It's basically the two of them, they play themselves as Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, they are part of this group of people trying to make a film based on a novel, which apparently this novel is really difficult to film because the main character is not born yet when when the book is over. So that poses a problem, but they solve it through narration, and Steve Coogan plays that character, and he sort of walks around as, not as Steve Coogan, but when they're filming, which the movie starts with that, he sort of walks around and presents things. He's sort of the narrator and the guy you follow. But most of the movie takes place outside of that movie, I suppose, in real life, as they try to figure out how to pull the movie off. And it's a pretty interesting movie. I'm not gonna say more than that. There's definitely more to say, but I'm just gonna confuse myself. It's not that confusing though. I mean, it starts out fairly confusing, but if you just watch half of it or whatever, it will make sense. And it's interesting. It's really funny. I liked it a lot actually. So yeah. Let's see, this one, Before the Winter Chill, I think the English title is. And last time when I was going to mention this, when I showed it in my haul video, the camera cut me off. But I was going to say that this movie is by the director who made this movie right here. I think the English title is I've Loved You for So Long, or something like that. By the same director, also with Kristen Scott Thomas. She was amazing in that movie, and she's a terrific actress. She was great here too. But this movie did not really grab me as much as that one did. I mean, if you can, both movies has a bit of a reveal in the ending, and the reveal in that movie makes sense, and it's heartbreaking. It's I don't know. It's just a really powerful, I don't know, melancholic movie, I suppose. The twist or whatever in this movie didn't really make sense to me. I didn't really see what they were trying to do. I don't know. It just seemed rushed, or it seemed like they had to come up with some sort of twist, or not twist, but an ending which was interesting in some way. And I don't know if I felt like they pulled it off, but I will admit that I was a little bit unfocused in some parts because I just wasn't really enjoying it. But, I want to say I'm going to give it another go someday, but I don't think I will. That one I probably will, but I wasn't really a big fan of this one, but I do recommend you watching the other one. I don't even know if I should talk about this next one, but I guess I will, because now I started, and if I won't, then you're gonna, it's gonna be a horrible teaser. This one is called Religulous, and I have it's about Bill Maher, goes around talking to different people of different religions who are convinced of the existence of a god and so on, and he tries to prove to them that you are wrong. And it is a well-made, funny movie. It says that it's somewhere here a mix between Borat and Fahrenheit 9/11. It's basically a movie where Bill Maher thinks he knows everything and nobody else knows anything, and you should listen to him because he's right and he's the almighty. He just comes. I mean, I think it's problematic when you try to make a partial movie about religion or whatever like this. I think this is generally seen as a pretty respected movie, but for me, I'm not sure if I respect it, because I don't agree with ridiculing people for their belief. Even though, I mean, I do agree with Bill Maher in terms of, you know, what he said. I mean, I agree with what he says, but I don't agree with, for the most part anyway, I do. But I don't agree with, I mean, he's no more human than they are, which is sort of, in a way, an argument he has against them. Well, you can use that against him too, because why should they not get to believe what they want to? And I mean, there's no truth out there. There are no answers. So why does he feel the need to go out there and putting these religions down? I mean, I don't know. I just some thoughts spontaneously here that comes out of my mouth. I did like it to some extent because it is entertaining, but I'm just at that point where I feel like no one is more correct than anyone else in terms of religion or convictions about whatever it is, and I just feel like his approach here is makes me dislike him, or his approach anyway. But like I said, I I don't believe in an almighty God or whatever myself, but I just I have certain problems with the movie. But yeah, that's something like that. You could talk about that for a long time, obviously, but that's just some brief thoughts. A Simple Plan by Sam Raimi. This is a pretty interesting movie about what would you do if you found, how much is it, $4 million or something like that, in the forest, and you believe that you can get away with stealing them. Basically, that's the situation. Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, and a third character, not Bridget Fond, I guess that's her. I don't know who she is, but not her, but a third male character. They find a crashed plane in the forest with a bunch of money, and they decide to steal it because what could go wrong? And I think it's a little bit unnecessarily bleak. The ending could have been better, and I don't know exactly. For me, it was just an entertaining, well acted, pretty well. I mean, with a well acted movie with a really good suspense and great tension. But I wasn't a big fan of how it ended, and yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a downer. It was really quite depressing actually, and I don't know if it had to be. It made it feel rather didactic, unless I misinterpret what the movie was trying to say. But I'm not saying you should steal $4 million if you find them. I'm just saying it anyway. It's a bit of a fatalistic movie, I guess you could say. It's good though. I like it. I would recommend it, but just because it's an enjoyable, well-made movie, you know. Let's talk about that TV show I mentioned. Well, let's mention it anyway, because I don't really have much to say. But the final 7th season of Californication, I very much enjoyed watching this. I feel like maybe I liked it more than season 6, maybe season 5 too even. Season 1 and 2 really are the only seasons that I truly think are great. Season 3 I enjoy a lot as well, a lot because of Kathleen Turner, and then it kind of goes downhill pretty quickly, unfortunately. But they kept going for a long time, and it never gets bad. This season I like because it has Michael Imperioli from Sopranos, among other things, but obviously he's going to be remembered for The Sopranos, for that amazing part he did in that show. But yeah, he's in this as a pretty central character. A bunch of other people too. I mean, Heather Graham is in this. Heather Graham as a pretty central character. I think she's in pretty much every episode. It's a fun season. I would recommend it. I was gonna say. I mean, if you like the show, you're probably gonna watch this too, I guess. Anyway, it was fun. Then one that I was happy to find recently, that I've been wanting to rewatch again. Let the Right One In. I actually have Let Me In on the way now as well, because I want to see. You know, I have seen both before, but I think it was a couple of years in between the two last time. So I want to see Let Me In with this one fresh in my memory, and I feel like this is going to be fresh in my memory for a long time without me having to see it again, because it's such a great movie, and such it has certain really iconic sequences for considering it's a Swedish movie. You don't really see movies like this in Sweden. I mean, you're gonna have to look hard for a movie like this from Sweden. I don't really. I mean, I guess I should know if there is one. I mean, there is one called Frostbite or whatever, but it's not nowhere near this. I mean, it's not the same kind of movie. I don't know if there's nothing like this really that has been produced in Sweden, as far as I know. I'm not going to talk about the plot, but it's just an amazing movie, and I'm actually kind of curious to see the remake now, comparing it with this one. I mean, in my opinion, a remake can rarely be better than the original if the original is already great. I mean, if the remake just tries to reach out to a wider audience, as in, you know, American Hollywood remakes or whatever, or foreign movies, I have a hard time seeing how they can be better than the original. I guess if they don't do something new with it, but I guess they rarely do. But I don't remember Let Me In very well, so I'm gonna have to watch that, and we'll see. Maybe I'll do a comparison later. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching.